Okay, so this is the screencast for my Tech IA project, my website. I made it for PLC International, which stands for Perfect Life Consultation. Now, the first thing I want you to look at is the logo. This logo was made customly using Adobe Photoshop, and it was explained how it was done using Photoshop in Criterion E. There are many versions of the logo. There's this 3D gray version I created, as well as a dark red and blue saturation tinted one. Now, the next thing I want to point out is the video that can be found right on the home screen. This video was created using a camera and edited using Camtasia Studio 9, and then it was uploaded to YouTube on the Perfect Life Consultation channel and embedded into the website using YouTube's Auto HTML embed feature. So next, I want to point out the menu bar at the top. The navigation bar has a special effect where after hovering over it for a bit, it'll change color smoothly, it'll fade. This was done using Muse's built-in fade feature. I set the delay to 0.8 seconds and the color to blue on rollover state. Alright, so next thing I want to point out is when you scroll down to the About page. As you can see, there is a parallax effect going on in which the logo is moving up and so is the video, but the logo is moving up slower than the video, and the background is staying still until this covers it entirely. Now, this effect was done using Muse Motion. The entire page was animated for this effect. The background was set with the key position to as soon as the scrolling started happening, and the motion was set to going down one, so it would follow the user as the website is scrolled down. Now the other elements, the video has no motion at all, which is why it scrolls normally, and the logo is set with a motion very little, 0.5, so that it will still move up eventually. Now the next thing I want to point out is the top drop-down bar. I chose to do this as an elegant way for the drop-down bar to continue showing after scrolling down. So there's a title menu bar here, which quickly gets replaced once the user scrolls down enough into a plain white bar with the flat logo on the side. And once again, the fully functional menu bar here. Now, this was created using a uh, white rectangle, and the opacity was set to about 75% to give it kind of a translucent effect. And a drop shadow was also added onto it so that it would stand out a bit from the white backgrounds. Now, the next thing I want to point out is the dynamic background. There's a bit of information here on what the company does. And as kind of a separator, I chose to make a dynamically scrolling background world map because it represents the international part of the company. Now, as you can see, upon scrolling down, at first it scrolls like normal, but once the key position for the background is reached, I animated it so that there's motion where the background goes up as it scrolls down for a bit so that the background appears to stay dynamic while everything else is scrolling up. So that just serves as a divider between the Here's What We Do tab and the Subjects that PLC Host tab. Now, these images were customly made using Photoshop. The blue ones were made by adding a blue saturation to each of them, and it's sort of done as a scroll over effect to each of them. Okay, so now the next thing I want to point out is the custom footer that was made for PLC. Now, about 100 pixels width of space was set aside on each page for the specific footer here. The same design was used throughout. It was customly made using two dividers, as well as an image of the logo, the text for copyright, and a few contact details. And if you look at the three buttons here, these were customly made as well, and they're all hyperlinked, which take you directly to the um, pages for the company that I created for the owner. Um, Now, if you go to the other pages, you can see that these pages all follow a very similar form. Unlike the first page, these have a fluid width, meaning that you can resize them however you want and they will look the same every time. The first page, because it uses parallax effects, this same thing was not able to be done. But on these pages, an A master is used, but similar things can be found. The content varies for each of the pages, such as in calendar here, different workshops, but the footer and the menu bar remain the same throughout each of them. Now the contact form will work. Right now it doesn't because the website's not hosted on an actual server, but once it's hosted on a server, a specific IP can be generated and inputted into Google so the CAPTCHA works and the email system works. So that's it for my project. This is the website for PLC International. Thank you for listening.